Now on CoastTV News.
Severely eroded dunes on Broadkill Beach, what DNREC is doing to try and help. Anti-ice protesters gathering along Route 1, why some members of the community say they felt compelled to show up. Plus, similar protests around the country after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis this week.
It was a Saturday soaker for Delmarva as we had the moderate to heavy rain. Still some rain as we go through the overnight hours. Coming up, I'll track the rain on Futurecast and have the updated rainfall totals and more on a blustery Sunday on the way. That's coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Equipment moving sand on Broadkill Beach. Good evening. I'm Emma Aiken. Thank you for joining us and welcome to CoastTV News at 11. It's our top story tonight. Take a look from our coast copter as DNREC began what they call dune realignment on the severely eroded dunes on Broadkill Beach this week. CoastTV News reporter Drew Bellinger breaks down the timeline and shows us the importance of this work.
Waves crashing on Broadkill Beach. Some of the dunes here have been severely eroded for years and got even more damaged after recent storms that hit the coast. DNREC says these dunes on Broadkill Beach are a vulnerable area of Delaware's coast. Take a look from our coast copter. This week, DNREC began realigning a 1-mile stretch of dune. This plan involves moving sand to better match the current shoreline and restoring a heavily damaged center section of the beach, according to DNREC. In some spots, the dunes have turned into cliffs. So the agency says crews will remove these steep slopes at beach access points.
They can be pretty dicey.
Brian Gibson says fighting Mother Nature will be easier said than done.
Nature has its way, so it seems like it's always going to be pulling the dunes away. But good to know that the properties will be hopefully continue to be safe.
Dune realignment was originally proposed by DNREC back in June. The state saying they plan to redistribute sand from the southern part of the beach to reinforce the northern end.
It's a big revenue for Delaware.
Bob Conti lives by Broadkill Beach.
Anything DNREC can do that's a positive thing for us and all the communities, all the coastal towns is a plus.
According to DNREC, all project work will occur above the mean high tide line. Officials say the work is weather dependent and therefore realignment could take another month or longer. Efforts to keep Broadkill Beach intact. In Broadkill Beach, Drew Bellinger, CoastTV News.
As Drew mentioned there, our coastal storms can play a big role in damaging these dunes. You may remember Hurricane Erin in August. DNREC labeled that a severe erosion event. And in October, a nor'easter struck the coast that left behind a dramatic 6-foot sand drop along the Bethany Beach boardwalk. We're now taking a live look outside into Dover. Our first alert meteorologist, Bob Tryhe, joins us. Bob, it was an absolute washout out there today.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, Emma. It was a super soaker on this Saturday. Most places picking up well over an inch of rain. Had this been snow, we would have been shoveling over a foot of snow. But here's our radar replay. Moderate to heavy rain all day long, and we're not done with the rain quite yet. Now, much of Sussex County is dry, but the northwest part of the county starting to see some showers around the Milford area. Also, those showers filling in around Cambridge, Easton, and Greensboro as well. We'll continue to see these showers progressing to the east as we go through the evening hours. So keep the rain gear handy as this system is attached to a complex area of low pressure and a frontal system, and this will keep the rain going through the overnight hours. And it's been impressive on the rainfall totals. 1.71 inches in Seaford, a little less than that in Slaughter Beach with Prime Hook and Federalsburg at 1.45 inches, and then Laurel, Georgetown, Rehoboth, and Lewis all at 1.43. I'll have much more on the rainfall totals coming up, but it's incredibly mild. 66 in Georgetown and Millsboro. Long Neck right now at 65. Foggy in some spots too. Cambridge, you're down to a quarter-mile visibility in fog, and those southerly winds, strong ones, are bringing in the mild conditions, and we're seeing some gusts now over 30 miles per hour, and we'll see more of those showers as we go through the overnight hours and into Sunday morning. I think we'll see one more push of rain along the coast, and then we'll finally start to dry out. Then after that, it gets blustery and really cold later in the day. Week. Much more on your forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Delawareans gathered to protest against ICE after an agent shot and killed Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis on Wednesday. This protest here took place outside of the Giant on Route 1 in Rehoboth Beach and was led by Indivisible Southern Delaware, who says more than 100 protesters came out this morning. Take a look. Some community members brought signs, American flags to show their support. Protesters CoastTV spoke would say they felt the need to show up.
You see a sense of community, you see the support of the people. The vast majority of people who pass us are beeping their horns and supporting what we're doing here, so it kind of makes us feel good about what we're doing, and we are speaking for people who can't speak.
Tomorrow, Indivisible Southern Delaware says at 2:30 they will hold a peaceful memorial car procession at the Lowe's in Lewis, and at 4:15 a memorial service at Gordon's Pond. And to read more details on this protest, we do have an article right now on CoastTV.com. It was a similar scene in Milford this morning. Take a look. Protesters gathering near Route 113. You can see some more people holding American flags and a variety of signs, some saying honk for democracy and more, symbolizing anti-ICE. A candle-lit vigil is planned in Dover tomorrow, January 11th at 4 p.m. at Legislative Hall to mourn the loss of Renee Good. The peaceful vigil will be held by the Delaware Democratic Socialists of America and other organizations. These anti-ICE protests popped up not just here on the coast, but all across the country today, including outside of the White House. You can see signs here, some reading, "Trump must go now." And here's people taking to the streets in Manhattan. Lots of folks there. You can see more anti-ICE signs there in the city. Anti-ICE protests weren't the only type of protest happening across America. Some people in Boston took to the steps of the Massachusetts State House for that reason, but they also rallied for the end of U.S. aggression against Venezuela. Today's protest was called No War at Home, No War Abroad, and it took place on the steps of the Massachusetts State House. Some signs at the rally read "ICE out" and "No blood for oil." The group protesting claimed the Trump administration kidnapped Nicolas Maduro, quote, in an attempt to steal oil resources. President Trump trying to revamp the American oil industry with a high-stakes meeting at the White House. The U.S. also seizing another oil tanker near Venezuela. Here's NBC senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez.
Tonight, the U.S. has seized its fifth tanker in its recent campaign to control the flow of oil to and from Venezuela. In this dramatic video, U.S. forces overtaking the ship known as the Olena in the Caribbean.
One of the things the United States gets out of this will be even lower energy prices.
President Trump today meeting with American oil executives at the White House, offering them security guarantees for rebuilding oil infrastructure in an uncertain Venezuela. Some executives appeared skeptical.
We've had our assets seized there twice, and so you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes. Today, it's uninvestable.
Tom just spoke with Energy Secretary Chris Wright.
Democrats are saying the Trump administration is stealing Venezuela's oil at gunpoint and holding it hostage, essentially, to run the country. What do you say to that?
Oh, complete nonsense. Both of the premises are just ridiculous. Number one, we're not stealing anyone's oil. We're marketing that oil, putting it into accounts controlled by the U.S. government, and sending funds to Venezuela.
The president also says he plans to expand his military campaign in Latin America, indicating that Mexico may be next.
We are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico.
While laying out his vision on a president's power.
See any checks on your power on the world stage? Is there anything that could stop you if you wanted to?
Yeah, there's one thing, my own morality. My own mind. I don't need international law. I'm not looking to hurt people.
The president now says he's called off a previously expected second wave of attacks on Venezuela due to its cooperation with the U.S., including the release of political prisoners.
I don't think it's going to be necessary to do the second wave.
The Blue Line Network says volunteers are needed for the upcoming Back the Blue event. It's on Sunday, January 18th at Hudson Fields. The event honors the life of Corporal Matthew Snook, who was shot and killed while working an overtime shift at the Wilmington DMV just days before Christmas. The event supports his family and the law enforcement community. Organizers are seeking up to 70 volunteers, and anyone interested can sign up online. We know more about this young humpback whale that washed ashore near the Ocean Ridge community in Bethany Beach Thursday. After working throughout the day Friday to perform a necropsy, that's an autopsy for animals, Mayor determined that the mammal had subdermal hemorrhaging and a broken jaw. Mayor says that this type of blunt force trauma is often associated with a large ship strike, and that the nature of the injuries showed the whale was still alive when it was struck. The 32-foot whale, nicknamed Oil Change by his community in Cape Cod, has now been buried beneath the sand, a common practice that's good for the ecosystem, according to Mayor. Heads up for drivers in Kent County. DelDOT says this Monday, January 12th, the state's newest roundabout will open to traffic. It's on Route 10 in Camden, just next to Route 113, and DelDOT says remember to yield in and signal out when using a roundabout. In Salisbury, a section of Mill Street will be closed on Monday for bridge repair work. City officials say the closure will be between Lemon Hill Lane and Route 50. The closure is scheduled from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday, January 12th. Drivers are advised to use alternate routes and allow additional travel time.
Along with the rain, it's incredibly mild out there. 66, it was a few moments ago, near the record high of 67. Our low is 47, so kind of an inverted situation. It gets blustery and cold into Sunday. More in your forecast coming up a little bit later on.
But first, from rental rules to Dolly's demolition. There was a lot going on this week here on the coast, and we have a recap of your week when we're back in just 60 seconds. From a somber burial to new short-term rental proposals, the first week of January brought a mix of mourning, debate, and long-awaited updates across the region. Charlie Sakaitis has a look at our week in review.
Monday, slain police officer Corporal Matthew Snook was laid to rest. The funeral procession began before sunrise, led by dozens of motorcycles escorting the hearse to the Bob Carpenter Center. Corporal Snook was shot and killed while on duty at a Wilmington DMV in late December. Tuesday, Ocean City continued its debate over regulations for short-term rentals, the town now considering capping the amount of rental licenses in certain areas and then phasing out those licenses at a later date. Wednesday, a woman was detained by ICE and missed the untimely death of her son. According to Rigo Lopez, his wife, Arlet Maria Martinez, was on her way to work when she was detained by ICE on Mount Herman Road. 2 days later, their son, 15-year-old Kevin Martinez, a student at Parkside High School, died from cancer. Martinez still is in the custody of ICE and never got the chance to say goodbye. And Friday, we now know when the old Dolly's building will be demolished. It's been on hold for months. Structural problems have led to a delay, but the new plan for demolition is for it to take place in September. All of this is to make way for the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel. For your Week in Review, I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
A record-breaking flu season, hospitalizations surging, and cases still rising across our region. And coming up next, Bob Trihey is in the CoastTV First Alert Weather Center. Thankfully, he has a drier forecast heading into Sunday, and he has your full forecast after this.
It was great to see the rain. We definitely needed it. We're abnormally dry, but the timing not the best, of course, with the weekend here, but we can't have everything right. But this was impressive. Seaford, 1.71 inches of rain, a little less than that in Slaughter Beach, a little less than 1.5 inches in Prime Hook and Federalsburg, with Laurel, Georgetown, Rehoboth, and Lewis all picking up 1.43 inches of rain. And the list goes on. Cambridge, a little bit over 1.33 inches. Millsboro, 1.29, 1.24 in Dagsburg. Gumboro, Delmar 1.22, a little over an inch in Salisbury. Bethany Beach had a little bit over 3/4 of an inch. That was the lowest amount I could find. As we're looking at a foggy Ocean City on the dry tech cam, we've got the fog and the rain, and tonight the rain will be occasional. Still seeing large puddles. So if you're traveling tonight into tomorrow morning, maybe heading off to church, watch for wet roads, large puddles, some ponding with the rain, and minor flooding, still a slight chance. And then Sunday is breezy, blustery, and colder, mainly morning showers. Could see another little shower in the afternoon. Winds over 35 miles per hour in the afternoon. Temperatures in the 40s. Not right now. We are in the 60s, almost record high temperatures this late on a Saturday night. 66 in Georgetown and Millsboro, 66 in Gumboro, 62 in Rehoboth. So incredibly mild. Anytime we see that this time of year, we know something's up, and we've got a strong southwesterly wind sustained over 20 miles per hour, gusting to 30 at Indian River Inlet, 22 in Millsboro, 28 in Salisbury. That's bringing in all that warm air. We've had fog this evening, 3 miles in fog now in Cambridge and Ocean City, but that should be improving with time as we still have some showers out there. Not done with the rain yet. Much of Sussex County seeing the clouds, but you move into Seaford, Milford, and the Eastern Shore. We're seeing those showers building back in, and those extend farther to the south and west. This is all hooked up to a complex low pressure area and a frontal system that will blow through, and behind it, much colder air for later Sunday into Monday. Let's walk you through it on Futurecast. Mild this evening, a few more hit and miss showers, and then by late tonight, the wind shift to the northwest, and we'll see temperatures in the 40s and 50s. We could see one last push of rain from Berlin to Long Neck and Rehoboth along the coast tomorrow morning, and then the clouds decrease, and we're looking at blustery conditions into the afternoon with temperatures in the 40s and more clouds and maybe some instability showers as we go into the afternoon, and then just windy and colder after that into Monday morning. We're starting out in the 20s and 30s. Could pick up another 1/4 of an inch of rain from tonight's system. Otherwise, gusty winds over 30 miles per hour this evening, and then shifting behind that front, and then moving into Sunday afternoon, gusting over 30, and that's a cold wind as we go into your Monday morning. It's going to be feeling like 20s as we go into Monday morning, maybe even some upper teens. You're going to want to bundle up. It'll be a cold Monday. And then we've got a pattern change. We could be looking at a system that brings us rain and or snow. Really too tough to tell too soon, but it could be unsettled there. And then by Sunday, the European model not showing anything here, but other models are showing another round of rain and snow into Sunday, getting pretty interesting. 43 tonight, occasional rain, patchy fog, and then 48. Some showers on Sunday, blustery and cold. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 44 Monday, not as windy, lower 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. Then that rain snow chance Thursday, followed by colder weather Friday, partly cloudy and 37.
Flu cases in America have been at a record high. NBC's Tim Furlong has tips for staying healthy this season.
In a flu season that was already unusually bad, the end of the holiday travel and folks getting back to work stretches made it even worse. The CDC saying over 120,000 Americans have been hospitalized, and flu season isn't even at its peak. The CDC map has Delaware, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania all in the bad dark colors, New Jersey being hit the hardest by flu so far. The H3N2 flu offshoot subclade K, apparently the thing that is making cases hit harder and stick around longer.
Is a new thing. Kind of coming out this year, and that seems to be perhaps what's driving kind of the increases we're seeing in influenza cases recently.
Dr. Raven is the chief of Nemours Pediatric Infectious Diseases team. She does not agree with the Trump administration no longer recommending all kids get flu shots. The CDC numbers show flu vaccination rates in America down at their lowest level since before the pandemic. Dr. Raven says that's not good. Dr. Raven says even if this year's flu vaccine isn't the perfect match, she says it's still absolutely a great idea to get the shot. She also says keep washing your hands, use hand sanitizer, try to avoid touching your eyes, your nose, or your mouth. And she says if you're sick with the flu, stay home. Stay home, she says, unless, of course, you or your doctor decide you or your family member are having a flu-related emergency.
If you see any kind of change in their lips, blueness in the lips and the fingertips, that would be a big warning sign. Call 911, get to the ER right away. Any, increased work of breathing where you hear them audibly like wheezing or gasping, those are really critical signs for sure.
This is a record-shattering year for flu cases in America. Do your best to keep yourself from becoming part of the statistics. I'm Tim Furlong, Coast TV News.
U.S. fighter jets, the military's large-scale strike against ISIS. That's coming up on Coast TV News at 11. Worcester County Public Works will temporarily shut off water service in the Assateague Point service area on Tuesday, January 13th from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Crews will be installing isolation valves, and it's going to impact about 523 homes for up to 9 hours. If weather causes delays, the work will be rescheduled for Wednesday. The U.S. military has launched what it calls large-scale strikes against ISIS militants in Syria. The U.S. Central Command released this video showing a fighter jet taking off from an undisclosed location and missiles hitting targets. CENTCOM tells NBC News more than 35 targets were hit and more than 20 aircraft were involved. In a released statement, CENTCOM says today's strikes are part of an ongoing commitment to, quote, root out Islamic terrorism against our warfighters, prevent future attacks, and protect American and partner forces in the region, unquote. U.S. officials say the strikes are part of Operation Hawkeye Strike, which President Trump ordered in December in response to an ISIS ambush in Syria that killed 2 U.S. soldiers and a U.S. civilian interpreter. After the break here on Coast TV News at 11, as we take a live look outside, we have a final check on your forecast. Coast TV News continues in just a few moments. La Plaza Delaware and the Delaware Alliance of Latino Interpreters hosted a New Year's gala today called Evening with the Stars. The event at the Rehoboth Beach Convention Center included the presentation of the Delaware Latino Business Awards, which honor Latinos in a variety of businesses from cleaning or construction to restaurants or retail. Since 2021, almost 500 businesses in southern Delaware have joined the Alliance. And the MC of the gala was our very own Anna Sophia Roman. Very cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed. It's mild out there right now, not cool, as we're still looking at showers moving into Sussex County and the eastern shore. So some more showers as we go through the overnight hours, and then getting chilly into the 40s tomorrow, morning rain, and then by the afternoon, mid to upper 40s, but feeling like 30s with the wind. Call the First Alert weather phone. It's sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico. Your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. Sunshine for Monday, 44 degrees. It's going to be less wind at that time with lower 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. Then it gets active and colder for the end of the week. Some snow showers, maybe some rain with the system along the coast on Thursday, cold into the weekend, and then maybe another system on Sunday with rain and snow, and then temperatures falling through the 30s. So we still have a lot of winter to go, Emma.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. Saturday Night Live starts right now. Have a great night.